Hey, hey neighbor, it is I, your coach Melanie Black. I'm here to talk to you about the sugar you were asking for. Let's go ahead and talk about that. All right, sugar is bad for you, except for when it's not. When I was little, my grandmother would make all kinds of amazing Christmas cookies leading up to Christmas. She would make rum balls and sugar cookies of all different kinds, gingerbread men. She made these amazing Santa Claus cookies that had coconut in the beards and little raisin eyes that would wink at you every time you turn around. You could swear you saw them winking at you, and you would turn around fast and try to catch them and be like, "I know you're winking at me, Santa Claus. It's creepy." And then you would rip out the raisin eyes and eat them so that they couldn't look at you anymore. And then they just had their gaping, soulless, non-raisin having eyes. And your grandmother saw you eating the raisin eyes and she didn't get mad, but she thought that you loved raisins now. So she would bury you in raisins. So many raisins, it was like a ball pit. And you're like, no, I can't breathe in all these raisins. And so that you're trying to eat your way out of the raisins, like a giant earthworm emerging from the raisins, and raisins everywhere. And then you look around and your grandmother's nowhere to be seen, and you know that those Santa Claus cookies did it. So you smash the Santa Claus cookies and you eat them all just out of rage. And now your blood is pumping full of sugar, and you run out into the street and you tear up a manhole cover and you fling it, and it hits the neighbor's dog and it chops the dog in half. And now are these two half dogs running around saying, "Hey, Melanie, let's go away together and we'll be friends forever." And then so you grab the dogs by the paws and you spin around like a helicopter and you fly off into the sunset. Anyways, carbohydrates is all that's in sugar. There's no fat, there's no fiber, there's nothing in the sugar to slow it down. So it is all carbohydrates. It is 4 calories per gram sugar. And because there's nothing in it to slow it down, it's really great fuel if you're going to be moving fast. All right, so 1 gram of carbohydrate per gram in sugar. There's a lot of food sources that have multiple different macronutrients in it: protein, fat, carbohydrates. So in a lot of cases, you have to read the label to know, but sugar is one exception. Oil is another exception. Most protein sources, food sources for protein, are going to have some other things in them. But in this case, it is straight up 1 gram equals 1 gram of carbohydrate. That's 4 calories per gram. Now, remember, a calorie is just a unit of energy. So sugar doesn't have any more energy necessarily than your proteins do. However, because sugar has no fat, no other things to slow it down, it's going to be taken up into the system faster than protein. It also has different functions in the body than protein. It also has half the calories, more than half the calories, or less than half the calories, right, of fat. So in protein, there are essential amino acids. Essential means that your body cannot make them on its own. It has to rely on food sources to get these nutrients. Otherwise, you will end up with a nutritional deficiency. Same thing with fat. Fat has essential fatty acids. So if you don't get enough fat, your body can't produce these fatty acids on its own. You're going to suffer some detrimental effects. Carbohydrates, on the other hand, have no essential nutrients in them. So you can technically have a 0 carbohydrate diet for a prolonged period of time and live. But your brain, whenever carbohydrates are available, does prefer to run on carbohydrates. And remember, your brain accounts for approximately 20% of your total caloric burn in the day. So when you're doing a lot of thinking, if you get hungry for carbohydrates, yeah, that's a real thing. Your brain really does want to run on carbohydrates when you're doing a lot of thinking. Also, and more importantly, when you are extremely physically active or under extreme stress, carbohydrates can provide a valuable fast-acting fuel source. And sugar in particular, having been stripped of all fiber or other nutrients to slow it down, gets into the bloodstream really, really quickly. So again, if you are doing something intense, like you are sprinting, you are powerlifting, you are doing some intense physical activity, sugar can be an amazing fuel source. However, because it does absorb into the body so quickly and get into the bloodstream so quickly, your body does have to deal with it quickly once it's there. So if you are sedentary, if you're just sitting around, you don't want thick, syrupy blood. So your body, by way of insulin, transports that sugar to places where it's not going to be harmful. Because if it stays in your blood and it makes your blood thick and syrupy, that means that your blood can't pump effectively into the fine little capillaries into your eyes or into your extremities, which is why diabetics have issues with limb loss and vision loss and all these kinds of problems. So your body wants to put it somewhere where it can be used later, aka fat storage. So sugar is great for either fast acting energy or fast fat storage, assuming that your insulin is working the way it is supposed to. So yeah, sugar, it is bad for you, except for when it's not. If you have questions about sugar, or if you want to let me know what your favorite holiday cookie is, go ahead and post it in the comments below. I want to know, what is your favorite sugary treat? And do you like raisins? I hate raisins. Raisins are terrible. Still to this day, I am not a fan of raisins at all. Yeah, except for in Raisin Bran. But in Raisin Bran, they're like sugar coated, right? So yeah. Okay. See you next time. Bye.